sorry, that's for a...
Let me know when you're ready.
Was an extremely great conservative commentator. We're tearing it up on Wednesday night. This is awesome. This
will allow me to report.
Well, this is Jersey Joe for the Reaver of Common Sense show. I'm on shrmedia.com.
Actually, I just totally screwed up. This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome to the Reaver of Common Sense. I'm your host, Jersey Joe. And I'm here to make sense out of the senseless. Well, I totally goof up. As always, screw up the opening. Let's see. Where are we? The Jersey Takeover is here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to watch a live broadcast, it's easy. So easy. A liberal can do it. Just go to reaver.one, that's REAVER.ONE, and click on the SHR TV button. You have two other ways. I give a lot of options. There may be too many options. I'm going to confuse the liberal. What's up, BZ? My brother from another time. The two other ways is you can go to YouTube or you can go to Facebook and search for, that's right, SHR Media. If you haven't already done so, hit subscribe and hit like to keep up to date with all the great shows like BZ's Berserk Bobcat Saloon or Sackhead Radio Show. I'm trying to remember. The Lid Show. Melanie. Oh, I'm going to screw this up. I don't have the full name of her show. I sound like an idiot. But that gives you an idea of what, just a small sampling of all the great shows that we have. And we're ever growing, ever growing. So, where are we going to start? I got a lot of good stuff up today. I got a lot of short articles, like my wife. I got to tell you this little story. Money Talks with Melanie. That's it. Thank you, BZ. BZ is up to date on everything. He's turning into the glue that keeps this great radio station going. But a story I got to tell you. So, Saturday, sitting on the couch talking to my wife, she wanted to go to, or was it Friday? Whichever. Yeah, Saturday it was. Now I'm arguing with myself. And I had mentioned going to dinner. My wife loves CC's Pizza because it's cheap and easy. Oh, and another great show is you have The Right Way with Shannon and Mike. I mean, there's so many. I have a tendency, because I'm a blonde, I forget. So we were talking about going to CC's for dinner. I said, one of these days we got to paint this damn living room. I've said it before. And she looks at me. She's like, all right, let's go to Lowe's. She goes, what do you want to do? Well, I talked about, she goes, you want to do those two sections there, brighter color within the rest? Yeah. She goes, let's go to Lowe's. Let's take a look. Okay. My wife wants to go to Lowe's. Hey, I'll take that one right there any day of the week. So we go, and we're looking at the paint. She's looking at the colors. And, well, do you like this one? What about this? I'm like, this is your gig. You pick it out. So she gets the colors. She's like, all right, I'm ready. So I start to leave. She kind of looks at me. Like, you mean you're ready to grab the paint? She's like, yeah. I'm like, you do know we have to get rollers. Yeah. Okay. So we get everything. Get the 3 different types of paint. We got I had to explain to her we need a white satin for the molding. Then we got the flat color for the wall. And we got a light color, and we have these 2 pieces that jut out like 4 inches. So we did them a darker, according to which way you look at it. One way it looks like well, in the can it looks like chocolate syrup. When it's up on the wall, it has like this red look to it. But either way. So I get the hyper idea. So we go out to dinner, get back to the house, unload. Of course, we have the spackle, start taking everything down, moving everything out of the way, start painting the trim, and my back is fudged up to the word go. Hey, the Unpleasant Blind Guy's here. How are you doing today, sir? So, I'm like, you have to do the lower portion. I'll get everything else. Okay. And then it was, well, we got the molding done. Let me get out the dark paint. And one thing I learned is, and it shocked me, and it's not because she was a female. It has nothing to do with that. My in-laws, well, my father-in-law worked his ass off all his life, and he made good money. So he never painted a house. The kids never had to paint a house. Like me growing up, we did a lot of painting growing up. Because my dad, his thought was he has 3 boys. 3 boys. Why should I pay someone to do it? So, I'm sitting there and watching. I'm like, well, hon, cutting isn't that easy. She grabs the paintbrush, and she starts going. I look, and I went, who the fuck taught you how to cut? She's like, nobody. I was like, bullshit. Someone showed you how to cut. Now, I remember I showed her a while ago, but she just picked up the paintbrush and started cutting. And I'll be damned, she was cutting better than I was. I was like, son of a bitch. So we spent all day yesterday painting the rest of the walls. Yes, spackle. Yeah, my dad said he did not have 3 boys so that he can go hire other people to do the work. Now, my oldest brother, he got out of most of the work because he's not the most mechanically inclined. Now that he has his own house, he does some of the stuff on his own. But growing up, not really. It was us, me and my middle brother. We did it. And it didn't matter what it was. It didn't matter. Because we would be the ones, fix it. Do the lawn. We're going to redo the kitchen. We're going to redo the bathroom. It was, guys, figure it out. Figure it out. And that's what we had to do growing up. And now I'm not knocking my wife, and her upbringing. Her father worked his ass off as a lawyer. He worked his ass off. So he deserved it. But it was, the other good thing is because my daughter just turned 14 last Monday. So we're doing the painting yesterday. And, and my wife looks at me and goes, can you brown the meat for dinner? I'm like, you know what? My daughter's been at me all day. She wanted to help. She wanted to help. She wanted to help. So I called her out. I was like, Jordan, can you do the ground beef? Brown it up? Yeah. Oh, we're having tacos? All right, I'll get the tomatoes cut. I'll get the onions. And my wife looked at me. I was like, hon, she wants to help out. So next thing you know, she's asking her mom, can I do my laundry? She already cleaned her room. It just, to me, it was a great weekend. I mean, I'm hurting. My wife's hurting. Now, the funny thing is, and it all started with a story because my daughter was giving my wife a lecture. Because all that, we were both hurting. Took some meds last night. And my wife oversleeps this morning. I know, browning the meat, that's a racist term. So, my wife oversleeps. So, she called out of work. Okay, I mean, she didn't lie. Her back was out. And we just told my daughter, don't worry, you got a free day. It's our fault. First day of that she's missed all year. I can tell you right now, since she started school, she's in 7th grade. I think she's missed a total of 8 days total. And 3 of those, she had a severe, no, 2 of them, she had a severe allergy attack when we first found out. She was in the ER, and it knocked her down for a couple days. My daughter went 2 years without missing a day, so if she missed one day, I don't care. Don't bother me. Girl only wants school. But it was getting ready for bed, and she looks at my wife. She's like, I'm You need to wake up because I don't need to miss 2 days of school in a row now. You don't want me missing 2 days now, do you, Mom? I was like, oh my God. Here it used to be, I used to get the lecture from my parents that I don't need to miss 2 days at school. And here my daughter's giving us the lecture of not missing 2 days at schools. Well, my wife got in a small accident, so hers isn't that bad, but it just got it going, and she was doing all the baseboard. Dave, the Unpleasant Blind guy, is asking in the chat room that we both have bad backs and says, now I see how Klingon sex was invented. And it's not that bad. It's just from doing the baseboard. But why we did that, because she's 4'10", so she's closer to the baseboard than I am. I'm 6 foot. So I handle the tall work because, well, if she goes up a step ladder, she falls, that's a trauma alert. We're going to have to pay for a helicopter ride and all that because when you start getting over 2-3 times your normal height, it's a trauma call. Make sure my wife's not around to hear that joke. It's not a joke, but I don't think anybody's ever done that. I can't say that because I know some medics that would. So she does the lower stuff in the house, and I do the high stuff. I mean, I think it's good. Yeah, 4'11", or 4'10". She actually lost an inch recently. She used to be 4'11", now she's 4'10". And then I'm 6 foot. And the funny part is, we always bust on each other because my ideal woman is like a 6 foot blonde. And what do I marry? A 4'10" brunette. Well, what's funny is if she, I think it's an inch shorter, she'd technically be a midget and be eligible for disability as a midget. No, actually, I used to be 6'1", 6'2", and now I'm down to 6. With the spinal injuries damaging the vertebra or the disc, you can lose, and when you get older, the disc lose some of its the thickness of it. Because it starts to lose hydration in the disc, and they shrink down a little bit, and you do lose height over time. So as you get older, you do shrink. Yeah, my wife knows how to send me in orbit. Oh, Jesus. I had her stretching my legs out. So what does she do? I'm on the bed. She's, stretching my legs out. She starts grabbing the hair on my legs and yanking them out. Oh, I hate that. Her other one is she tries to grab my goatee and cut it or yank it all the time. But I told my wife, the last couple of weeks have been so great. We've gone fishing as a family, doing stuff around the house, projects together. And it's just been a nice change of pace with us doing things together. Instead of all the time watching the boob tube, each one of us, TV on. My daughter has her tablet in hand and laptop in front of her. I got the TV and my tablet. My wife's reading books on tablet, and it's kind of like looking around. It's like, where did the family unit go? Pretty much everybody's always looking at tablets nowadays and laptops. So it's been nice for us to get together, and it's been nice. And I mentioned that to her. And she kind of went to give me some shit. And I was like, wait a minute. I've wanted to go fishing with you for a long time. I go at nighttime. My wife used to be. She never liked the nights. And just like the last 2-3 years, she started staying up later. So she goes. Now that was a total off-the-wall subject. The beard was originally for burrowing. Yeah, friggin' California wouldn't let you cut it, would they? Once they have a nesting place, that's protected for the rest of their lives. Well, that's like, I know this is going to sound totally off the wall, but one of the bitches I have with my HOA is try to get the management company. They never answer the phone. They never answer the phone. And they tell us, well, text the company. Text them. That's like, I'm trying to do business. I'm not here as a teeny bopper texting away. I mean, I've texted with, BZ, me and Sean text back and forth, you know, but when I'm doing business, I want to hear a voice. I want to talk to somebody. I don't want to sit here and play text back and forth. And it pisses me off when this company does it. And I'm not the only one. My neighbor's been trying to get a hold of them, and the same thing. She's like, they just moved in. And she's like, what the hell is this texting stuff? I guess she's too busy to pick up a damn phone. I mean, I don't mind. I text my wife, hey, I pick up this, she's pick up this, or just to say hello. Hey, did you see this article? My mom sent me texts or sending pictures. I've sent to my mother-in-law and stuff. That's okay. With my daughter, when she's up in Poconos with the in-laws, you know, she does texting. But when it comes to a company, it's... Yeah, and I do understand, especially because I think she has trouble with English. I think it's a little Asian woman. But, I had a complaint because one of her little security people, I had garbage cans on the side of my house that I was putting yard waste in. That was there for 2 years. Finally, they put up a notice saying I've broken an X, Y, and Z rule of the HOA. And I was like, hey, you know, number one, can you tell me exactly what I did wrong instead of just posting the rules? Because my neighbor who was selling the house had garbage cans out in the front for like a week. So I didn't know if it was that they saw, and it was right in between our two houses. Could be construed as mine or his. And I had texts that, hey, you know, can you give me a specific of what I did instead of just give me general rules? I said, number two, can you tell your guys not to tape pieces of paper to my front door? I don't appreciate that. Now I got tape with glue and all that dirt, and now I got to do all this cleaning. I said, that's my property. I prefer you not to do it. There's other ways. And what do I get back from this woman is, when you came into the HOA, you gave the right for them to enter your property and come on to your driveway. And I'm thinking, I know what she meant, but her words, enter my property. I'm like laughing, going, yeah, go ahead, let one of your assholes try entering my house. But this is kind of the HOA I have, and there's a lot of us that are actually, we're trying to figure one of us to run for president. One of the first things we'll do is fire this HOA. It's a small-time piece of shit, little... they ignore the rules. They try jumping over the rules. They want us following certain rules. Exactly. They've taped it to my driveway, but taping it to my front door, I thought that was just a little wrong. And it wasn't like I was screaming. I said, hey, can you please ask them not to tape stuff to my front door? Nothing mean, just, I was very polite about it, please. It just, you know, that adds extra work to me. And what I was talking about, I know maybe you guys don't care, that they give more specifics. That they give more specifics of what I'm doing wrong. Because one time I got a notice, object near the front door. So when I called up, I actually got this woman on the phone. No problem, Jenna, it's okay. And I said, okay, I got this notice. It said I have something by the front door. Great. What do I have by the front door? And she's like, I don't know. Why would I know? I'm like, I don't know. Your people are citing me for this, and you're telling me to correct the issue. How can I correct the issue without you telling me exactly what it was? I said I have a little bench, like a kid's bench, wood, cast iron on the side. Very nice. I said, that's allowed by the rules. She goes, yeah. I said, okay, that's by my front door. What was it? Was it a package the mailman left there? Was I working on the front lawn and I put a rake against the side of my house while I went inside for a moment and came back out? She's like, I don't know. I can't tell you. Then I'm like, why are you sending me a notice if you don't know what I did wrong? I can see you're quoting the rules. Great. But unless you tell me how I broke that rule exactly, I don't know how to fix the issue. That's why I don't understand some of these people. They can't give you, specifics. They got to give you this generalization, which doesn't help. It's already that time. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, and we will be right back.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
You have been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch Reaver of Common Sense show hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else. So consider this your fair warning.
Hello, I'm Tim Hart. I'm the guy BZ hires, due to his shameless contract with the SHR Media Network, to voice his promos. He'd like me to tell you that the Bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show can be found on SHR Media Network, Spreaker, and YouTube every Tuesday and Thursday night at 11 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Pacific, featuring right thinking from a left brain and doing the job the American media maggots won't. You'll find that the speech is free, but the drinks are not. There, in the saloon, just when safety pin manufacturers are running out of metal for the diapers of the leftists, BZ is sending his personal drones of freedom into the wheelhouses and ossicles of lovers of sovereignty and liberty nationally and globally. Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, BZ swears that no rights were harmed in the making of this promo. In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. You didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying cat for the stupid pro.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Hey, it's Sean from the Sackheads Radio Show, also one of the owners here at the SHR Media Network. Are you opinionated? Have you ever wanted to do your own show? Have you ever heard somebody like the Sackheads and go, yeah, I could probably do that better? Well, now's your chance. Send me a 5-minute clip at sackheadsradio@gmail.com, and maybe you can be part of the SHR broadcasting team. sackheadsradio@gmail.com.
This is Jersey Joe, host of the Reaver of Common Sense, and you're listening to shrmedia.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
Human by race, Christian by faith, American by nationality, and conservative by choice. Reverend Ralph J. Chittum Sr. is the right guy on SHR Media from 8:05 to 9 p.m. Monday through Friday. And if on the rare occasion I am ever wrong, I will still always be right. The right guy on SHR Media.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm here to make sense to the senseless. A little change up that happened this past weekend. HP Pundit, and it's going to take me a while. And you guys know me, it takes me a while to remember this shit. But HP Pundit has changed its name, has merged with a couple other of its smaller assets into one mega Texas media conglomerate, the LoneStarNews.com. So unfortunately, I know I'll be stupid enough, I'll be making that mistake for a while to come, but the new website for the old HP Pundit is now the LoneStarNews.com. Let me tell you, I am proud to be, I guess partnered up would be the correct word. If it's not the correct words, I'm sure someone will correct me on it. With Dan the Man Butcher. Funny thing is, side note, that a while ago, this is going, God knows how far back, when I was just doing one night, I think it was Sunday nights or something like that, but whatever. Next thing I know, I heard Sackett, me and Sean were talking, and he mentioned something about I'm on Dan's network. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, he liked your stuff, so he's doing your show. We kind of, we're working together. I was like, wait a minute, somebody else wanted my show? And let me tell you, I know this may sound stupid to some people. I don't want to say an ego rush, but the confidence I got from that there was actually another station that wanted my stuff. And that made me feel so great about myself and made me feel a little bit more confident about doing this. Now, I know it's not Fox News coming knocking on my door or CNN, but it validated that maybe my show's better than I thought it was. I'm not trying to blow my own head up or pat myself on the back. And I know the other guys will know exactly what I'm talking about when I say this. Because when you get someone saying that to, hey, you want to listen to your show, it makes you feel good about yourself. And when Dan did that, I was just like, holy shit. So I was proud of it. Now, I'm proud of, for 2-3 years now, I've been on Dan's station. I still think him too. And it just caught me off guard. For a good way. So, Dan's a good guy. Sean is a great guy too. I have so much respect for those two, what they do. When I started, there was another network that I was talking to, and for some reason I got talking to Sean, and next thing I know, I agreed with Sean. I liked what he had to say. He was like, listen, we're not big. We're not trying to push it real fast, real hard right now. He's like, I see all these stations, they peak up real fast, real good, and then they die off too fast. He's like, we're taking it nice and slow. Just something about that I liked. And I let the other person know that I was backing out. Then I found out he was going to charge me like $350 a week. I was like, yeah, I wouldn't have been able to pay that anyway. Ends up that network has gone to the wayside. They probably a year, so 2015 I think is when they pretty much were done, because I started here in 2014, and I was like laughing about it because that's what Sean predicted. Now the guy's still doing his show. He still does his show. In fact, it's on Dan's network. But all the other hosts, I don't think are there anymore. I know one of them has phased out. That one was a nut job, especially when the elections came around. She was like one of the major never-Trumpers. She was a nut job she turned into. Holy shit. Couldn't believe how bad that woman was. Not because she was a woman, just she was bad. Oh. And she used to be co-host on a show that was done, that was on right before my show at 11, when I was on at 11 o'clock slot. And I'd be listening, because I would turn everything on, so I knew when they were almost done. And, funny, Jen. Jen is sitting there saying, I explained it very romantically. It was very romantical, you see. And I'd sit there and listen. And it would piss me off because the guy would talk about, other stuff that was going on. And all she would talk about was bash Trump, bash Trump, bash Trump, bash Trump. And it was like sickening. I mean, she's no longer, as far as I know, on a show anymore. I don't know. She blocked me on Twitter because we were arguing, and I said, I used to have respect with your shows, when I listened to your show. And she's like, what shows? Oh my God, you know about my shows? You're a stalker. I'm like, no, because your show, I remember when you started, I was talking to you a lot, and she kind of helped me. I said, and I was like, oh my God, you are one psycho bitch. From there, she just blocked me outright, and I was like, good, I'm done with her. I think it was Bunny Foo or some shit like that. Psycho bitch. Oh my God, she's a nut job. Now she's a writer for Twitchy or some shit like that. Ugh. Which photo? Is that me or Dave? Easy. It's funny. I got so much shit written, and I haven't touched a thing yet. So I'm sorry I'm going off on this tangent. It's just one of those days, just going off to. Bunny Foo was real big on Twitter. Back in like 2012, 2013, she's one of the first person that I followed on Twitter. And then when Trump came around, she just went off the deep end. Oh, I've posted it before. I'll get another one for you. I joked about it the other day because I started with, when I first started the show, I was on a laptop. I'd take the laptop from the other room, come into my computer room, sit down. And it's expanded from there to, I got 2 computers that I built, 3 computer screens, TV set up next to me with the news, tablet, and a little laptop next to me that I look up stuff every now and then. And a big mixer, what is it, Behringer X1204 USB. That's funny, Jenna. That's funny. Jenna is saying, are you calling MBZ? If you don't get it, let me know, because you know how my phone goes sometimes. And that'll be an honor. BZ's going to call it tonight, I think. I still have one of the smaller Behringers. In fact, 2 of them. The original one I started with, Then I upgraded and I didn't like it. I like the 1204 with the sliders and the mute buttons because it's easier to go to commercials and all that. I do got a bunch of Second Amendment stuff I want to get to too. This I did go over. Oh, see if BZ's actually going to call it. Like I said, I know this fucking phone sometimes gives me a world of shit according to where it's placed. Alright, I got 2 bars. Hopefully that'll be enough to pick up a signal. Usually does. I know AT&T's been working on their lines lately. And that's why I'm using BZ, the Behringer headphones. I actually like them. The only thing I have a problem with is the connector. Because I got to play with it as I'm doing the show sometimes, because like the right side headphone will shut off because of the connection to the extension I have on it. It just doesn't seem to... I always have a problem with those connectors, those little 1/4-inch plugs. Oh, let's see. All right, I wait for BZ to call in. ESPN reporter who tweeted out that President Trump was a white supremacist, racist, has been suspended not for calling the president a white supremacist. No, didn't get anything for that. But because it was at Jamil Hill, she has been she went after the Dallas Cowboys owner. The Dallas Cowboys owner came out and said anybody that's going to disrespect the flag will be suspended now. Well, this reporter for ESPN, called out for a ban, a boycott on the Dallas Cowboys sponsors. Well, she works for ESPN, a sports organization, and she just is calling for owner and a team boycott. So she's been suspended for that. Yeah, but, Jerry Jones came out there. Yeah, he did something. Last week he came out and he was on the field kneeling with his players before the anthem. They did that little protest before. Damn it. Let me change the location of my phone. I gotta figure this out. BZ, I'm going to send you a private message. Alright, BZ, I sent you a private message. Try calling in on that phone line. Oh, BZ, I know I've been copying some stuff off you, and I'm sorry. I don't give you enough credit for it. But I am in love. I am in love with this microphone. The Shure 55 Classic, I think it is. Oh, my God, I love this microphone. It is great. I love the sound of it. I sent you a message through the chat room. Should be up towards your left. Top left, it should have my name up there on the left-hand side. Oh, here. I can delete the message later. There you go. Try calling me on that number. Yeah, I love the Shure mic. Oh, I'm in love with it. I think it's going to be the last microphone that I buy. Well, unless it breaks. But yeah, she's been suspended for going after a football owner. And but not when she attacked the president and called him a racist and white supremacist and all that. Yeah, that's okay. You can falsely claim all that. But, going after an NFL team, hell no, you can't do that. Oh. And it was a tweet she sent out, and it was in response to Cowboys owner Jerry Jones' statement that any player who doesn't respect the flag on his team will not play. Hill took to Twitter and released a tweet storm full of advice for those who wish to protest Jones's decision. Quote, "No, I think the Cowboys fans, the paying customers, need to pick up this fight. Don't look to Dez or Dak. You do it." The problem is the fans have stood up. And have said how they're tired. Yeah, I know that. It's... How are you going to... The numbers show, the polls show, that the fans are sick and tired of these protests. Some of them said they don't mind that the players are protesting. They don't care about that. But when they watch football, they don't want politics. Which I can understand. I'm not going to debate somebody whether they think it's proper for someone to... what they want to protest over. That's their right. That's their freedom of speech. But when they do it where they're doing it, that's where a lot of people don't like it. I don't want... here we go. Should be BZ. You're calling the Reaver of Common Sense show. Who's this?
Well, oddly enough, it happens to be BZ.
How are you doing, sir? How are you doing?
Good, great. You're on the far east coast. I'm on the far left coast.
Yeah, you're behind enemy lines, unfortunately.
Oh, hell, am I ever. My God.
It's just getting worse and worse out there.
Well, here's the bad thing, the good thing. Leftists are having their houses burn up like crazy in Napa and Sonoma counties today.
Oh.
And I hate that, and I simultaneously love it. And I find myself really perplexed by this, and it's a terrible conflict for me, because they're getting what they bought into for decades. No forest management whatsoever. And now that it's starting to have actual repercussions,
yep.
Only now is it beginning to get some kind of attention, because, Jersey Joe, you couldn't take a dead tree out of the forest. And I'm not saying that Napa, they don't really live... Napa, well, let me go back a little bit. Napa County, for those who are unaware, Napa County has some of the greatest wines. That's what it's known for. The land and the rolling hills and the wines.
And a great auto parts
California.
store.
They have great vineyards. And they also have great woods. And they also have great brush. But part of the problem with that is that you could never remove the deadfall. You could never take up the trees, and you could never trim the trees, or you could never remove a tree from your property, even though it had died.
That's wrong.
And so, plus, after having experienced, about 6 years of the drought. Last year was actually very wet. But prior to that time, and because we haven't had any rain around here, well, no, I can't say around here, the west coast of California hasn't had much rain. They haven't been able to, they can't log, they can't remove, they can't do anything to, that would interfere with Gaia or Mother Earth. So, after this deadfall, literally some places in the forest can have, and I am not kidding, a foot to a foot and a half of deadfall, which means that's twigs, leaves, pine needles, branches, etc. as you walk along. It's what is known as loam. And you can't do anything to remove it from your property. And if you do, sometimes if you take a tree from your own property, if someone notices or reports it, you can have substantial fines.
Let me interrupt you real quick, if you don't mind. That's kind of what pissed me off. I really hate when government starts to tell you what to do on your property. I mean, there's a degree I understand, but that really pisses me off when they start interfering with what you do on your property. I mean, here in Florida, my county, it's getting so bad, they've hired pilots of these small aircrafts to fly over the county and take pictures of your house. So if you change something in your backyard that should technically need a permit, and they find that you did it without a permit, they'll come after you.
Well, yeah, because it's all about money. Yeah. When people say it's all about the environment,
no, it's about money.
Wrong. It's not. It's all about offsets. I learned about offsets years ago when I was working for the county. That aside, I mean, that's an entire topic for another day.
Yeah.
But here's the deal. Now that their homes, and trust me, in Napa County, just about every home there is, I don't know, $500,000 to $700,000 to $800,000 to $1 million, because you can't be a piker if you're in Napa County. If you're anywhere near the vineyards and whatnot. The funny thing is, BZ went out on his yacht yesterday, and I posted some photos in Facebook and whatnot.
Beautiful photos.
To San Francisco's Fleet Week, and, this might, who knows, San Francisco could cancel Fleet Week at a moment's notice, but for whatever reason, it's still there. Here's the deal. San Francisco used to be a port of call of the United States Navy. The USS Enterprise, at one time, was a United States carrier who was actually stationed in San Francisco. Actually, I think it was at Mare Island. Mare Island used to have a massive submarine repository of the U.S. Navy. And San Francisco has decided, in its infinite wisdom, to kick all those evil military people out. Except, here's the deal. They couldn't make money off the Enterprise. They couldn't make money off the submarines and the tenders that were there in that bay, but they still make money off of Fleet Week because people come in and spend cash because the Blue Angels are flying and whatnot. So it's funny, isn't it odd, Jersey Joe, how money seems to motivate leftists, and somehow money seems to trump their philosophy. Isn't that what? Oh, wait, I'm not talking about Harvey Weinstein, am I? No. You don't mean, you mean Harvey Weinstein's money?
You still there, BZ?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Oh, okay. I was checking something out, and all of a sudden I just heard quiet. I was like, huh?
But, I mean, Harvey Weinstein's money trumping their philosophy?
Oh, yeah. I mean, how many of them protected a sexual predator? The DNC isn't giving all or donating all the money that they collected. Something like he's donated close to $240,000. They're only going to give up, like, $30,000.
Wait, are you trying to kind of intimate that the Democrats may be a bit hypocritical and they are not following their own philosophies? You're about to go to right-wing hell. You realize that?
Well, what about the woman, the lawyer? I can't remember her name. I actually had the article for her later. She's that big the sexual harassment lawyer that signed on with Harvey Weinstein. And she ended up quitting because of the backlash. But her whole playbook was she was going to be attacking the sexual harassers and trying to silence them. But wait a minute. I thought Hillary Clinton said all women must be believed when it's talking about sexual harassment.
Yes, and see, that's why there's so much buttery political goodness inherent with this, because the woman you're thinking of is Gloria Allred. She has always supported women. And the funny thing is, her daughter, who is an attorney, was representing Harvey Weinstein, and now, only now, after about a week or two of his sexual revelations being exposed,
Lisa Bloom.
Only now is the daughter saying, well, maybe I need to find a new client. Do you think? Really?
Lisa Bloom is the other one, and she just quit.
Yes, she did.
Well, the one that really makes me question. So, pretty much they said everybody that knew Harvey Weinstein knew he was a sexual predator. It wasn't exactly some big secret. So what does Barack Obama do? He gets his daughter an internship with Harvey Weinstein. Isn't that a little sick? You know the guy's a sexual predator, and you get your daughter a job with him?
Well, think about if you decided that you'd given your daughter an internship with Roman Polanski in the 60s.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. He spent decades across the pond in exile because he used to diddle 15-year-olds. And now it's revealed, huzzah, huzzah, while he was in exile, Roman Polanski, the loving individual of Hollywood, he himself has been found again diddling 15-year-olds in Europe. Back God, didn't see that one coming, did you?
I know. The thing that I really found disgusting, and you know me, I have a tendency to jump around on, but it's all the same subject. Michael Moore this weekend tweeted out praising how great of a person Harvey Weinstein really is. That nobody is talking about that he really is a good guy. So I tweeted out that, you know, for number one, he's protecting a sexual predator, and B, there's people that said that Charles Manson was a great guy too. Doesn't mean he's not a murderer. You know, Harvey Weinstein could be a really nice guy. He's still a sexual predator.
Stop just for a minute. Let's glance at reality just for a moment.
Do we have to?
Yeah, no, yeah. Who in their right mind would copulate with Michael Moore? Go, I'll wait for the answer.
Oh, man, I think I'm going to throw up now. Thinking someone's going to have coitus with that thing? Oh, that was mean, BZ.
I know, because sometimes I throw out various visual brain worms, and they infest your brain, and it's just crap. It's hell to try to get those bastards out.
Oh.
But that's a visual. Some things that are seen cannot be unseen. Whether they're physical, visual, or just intimated by way of an obscene little phone call like mine.
Well, that's also... We've been having fun messing with my daughter, me and my wife. Now, we don't do any of this. We'll just be like, hey, Jordan, me and Mommy are going to go to the bedroom just... All of a sudden you hear, no! Stop! Why would you put that image in my mind? No! I'm like, what image? You and Mom having sex. Ew!
Yeah, it's true.
So we'll just be sitting there out of nowhere and just go... Oh, she'll start yelling at us. She's like, why do you have to give me that image? I don't want that image. But this Michael Moore, I think that's a worse image than imagining your parents having sex.
Yeah, it's like the quintessential sale, like Michael Jackson, the quintessential Michael Jackson sale. Boys' pants half off.
Yeah. Well, did you notice how quick they turned against Michael Jackson? but yet they're still trying to protect Harvey Weinstein. They said one of the reasons that these women have come forward is Harvey Weinstein doesn't have the power he used to have.
You want to hear something even more? You know, in the big scheme of things, it really doesn't mean dick. But the funny thing is, you ask any Gen Zer, you know, they're millennials and they may know a bit of this, but the Gen Zers don't know and don't care. You ask any Gen Zer now, excuse me, who is Michael Jackson? And they'll say something similar to, I don't know, maybe he's the guy that served me lobster at my last restaurant. I don't know, dude.
Just beat it. Sorry. It's weird how some people wouldn't know who he is, but it's amazing how quickly and that they turn their backs on him. But Harvey Weinstein, they're still trying to protect, and it's going to take some Hollywood people down. You have, who is it, Russell Crowe and Matt Damon that comes out now that helped hide a sexual harassment case back in 2004. They helped quiet it down.
Yeah, basically Russell Crowe called and said, you know, you need to tamp this shite down. Plus the Saturday Night Live guy, Lorne Michaels, said, oh gosh, why didn't you mention anything about this guy Weinstein? Well, it's a New York thing.
But
yeah, well, if it was a New York thing, Jersey Joe, and you got the accent to prove it, wait, isn't Donald Trump a New York thing? And the answer is yes, and yes, and hypocrisy by name is Demarath.
Bingo. Oh, and Dave said in the chat room, imagine late life Helen Thomas in a G-string. I'm pretty sure, I'm glad I don't know who Helen Thomas is. But the bad part is, I'm actually looking it up.
I'll tell you what, it's about the top of the hour, and I'm going to have to go.
All right.
But I will say one thing. Without a doubt, I mean, this is unequivocal, and I won't even remotely dispute this. In terms of brainworms, Dave beats me hands down. I'm going to have to hang up now, but on the break, whenever your next break is, Jersey Joe,
I just pulled the
you need
picture
to go onto your favorite search engine and enter the words. First, go to images and enter the words Helen Thomas, and then, let's say, news, and look at the image you get, and then go back to Dave's suggestion, and you'll understand how Dave beats me hands down badly. I mean, terribly, badly, like a big bass drum.
Oh, yeah, I pulled it up already, and, yeah, I think we're going to break because I think I'm going to get sick.
Yeah, good point.
Oh, and Jenna also said that Fuglies need loving too, so in response to picking on Michael Moore.
How sad. We'd always feel bad for Michael Moore. Always. And his 5 houses. We always feel bad for his 5 houses, 3 of which are multi-million-dollar houses in Michigan. We feel bad for Michael Moore.
He is one of those people. I don't wish death really on anybody or anything bad, but he is the one exception to the rule. If something, and I don't want anybody to go do it, I don't want anybody to go do it, but if something bad happened to him, like a satellite fell out of the air and it landed on top of him, I'd probably have a beer. I do not like that man. Bowling for Columbine showed me just what of a scumbag that man really is.
Okay, I'm going to leave you with this final thought. I don't think it's really going to come anywhere near Dave's suggestion, but I will posit this as I leave. How would you like to be, because you know he has one, guaranteed, how would you like to be Michael Moore's masseuse?
Michael Moore's G-string.
No, Michael Moore's masseuse.
Oh. All right, I'm going to go to break.
There you go.
Thank you for calling in, BZ. It's always a pleasure when I have you.
Take care, sir. Bye.
Have a good night. All right, with that, we're going to head to break real quick. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense. I think I'm going to go throw up after some of those images. You're listening on SHR Media and Lone Star News.com. Hang on. Let me make sure I got it right. I'll be amazed if I got it right. I really would be amazed. Oh my god, this is far up the conversation. Holy shit. Yes, LoneStarNews.com. And we will be right back.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
You have been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch Reaver of Common Sense show hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else. So consider this your fair warning.
Hello. I'm Tim Hart. I'm the guy BZ hires, due to his shameless contract with the SHR Media Network, to voice his promos. He'd like me to tell you that the Bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show can be found on SHR Media Network, Spreaker, and YouTube every Tuesday and Thursday night at 11 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Pacific, featuring right thinking from a left brain and doing the job the American media maggots won't. You'll find that the speech is free, but the drinks are not. There, in the saloon, just when safety pin manufacturers are running out of metal for the diapers of the leftists, BZ is sending his personal drones of freedom into the wheelhouses and ossicles of lovers of sovereignty and liberty nationally and globally. Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, BZ swears that no rights were harmed in the making of this promo.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. You didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying cap for the stupid promo.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Hey, it's Sean from the Sackheads Radio Show, also one of the owners here at the SHR Media Network. Are you opinionated? Have you ever wanted to do your own show? Have you ever heard somebody like the Sackheads and go, yeah, I could probably do that better? Well, now's your chance. Send me a 5-minute clip at sackheadsradio@gmail.com, and maybe you can be part of the SHR broadcasting team. sackheadsradio@gmail.com.
This is Jersey Joe, host of the Reaver of Common Sense, and you're listening to shrmedia.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guy. Because truth is not always pleasant.
Human by race, Christian by faith, American by nationality, and conservative by choice. Reverend Ralph J. Chittum Sr. is the right guy on SHR Media from 8:05 to 9 p.m. Monday through Friday. And if on the rare occasion I am ever wrong, I will still always be right. The right guy on SHR Media.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm here to make sense out of the senseless. The Jersey Takeover's here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you want to watch a live show, it's easy. So easy, a liberal could do it. Just go to Reaver.one, that's REAVER.ONE, and click on the SHR TV button. That'll put you in the chat room at the same time also. And the two other ways is go to Facebook or YouTube and search for SHR Media. And while you're there, don't forget to hit subscribe or like and join the ever-growing force that is the SHR Media world. I gave out a lot of shout-outs, and I was right in the middle of something. I didn't give one other shout-out. The Right Guy with Ralph J. Chittum Sr. Like I said, we got The Right Way with Shannon and Mike. Money Talks with Melanie. Of course, Reaver of Common Sense. We have Sackhead's Radio Show. BZ's Berserk Bobcat Saloon. We have Dave the Unpleasant Guy. Oh, I'm running out of the list of all the great shows that we have on this network. It's an ever-growing list. So tune in, jump on in. So I went out to the other room, give my wife a good night kiss, say good night. Walk out and I'm talking to my wife for a second, and all of a sudden, all I hear. Make sure this one is. Oops. Hang on. And all I hear is, damn it. For some reason I'm having trouble with this. Get in the hole. There you go. Couldn't get it in the hole. So all I hear, and when I go out there, is seriously, just out of nowhere. And I look, it's my German Shepherd. I swear to God, it took me a minute to find this. I had to listen to several, but this is exactly what he sounded like. I was like, son of a bitch, dude. Dude, you're such a pig. And he does it all the time. Oh. Yeah, the connector, it was, for some reason, the one connector I have going into the tablet, when it's not plugged in, I get that background feed noise. But yeah, all of a sudden, just, I was like, whoa. No, what's worse, yeah, the dog burps are cool, but all of a sudden, like the other day, he was sitting there, and he jumped up, looked at behind him, got up, and walked away. And my wife's sitting there reading her tablet. All of a sudden, I just heard, oh my God! Dude, she took a dog, walked back, sniffed, turned around, and walked away. He is famous for farting and just getting up and walking away. He does that little dog fart. Alright, stupid fart thing. I have a German Shepherd, and I have a little Yorkie Poo. I love both dogs just as equal. And I remember when my Yorkie Poo was young. And we're on the back porch, back when I smoked. And I just happened to be looking at him. all of a sudden, I hear this little... He jumps 6 inches in the air, and while he's jumping, he twists his body and sticks his nose to his ass. You could see he's scared shitless. And he's sniffing his ass as he's in the air. It's the first time I think he ever farted. It scared the shit out of him. And I'm dying laughing, and my wife's like, what the hell's so funny? I tell her, and she's almost on the ground laughing. He farts, and it's just a little... And he's in the air 6 inches and looking at his own ass. I was like, oh my God. It was... I don't think I could have planned anything any better than that. That was beautiful, that thing. Oh. Yes, I can be a child. Yes, I know that. Farts and burps, still... Yeah, we don't have cameras or video of that. You know what? Now I have surveillance cameras, and it would have caught him doing that. You wouldn't have heard the sound, but it would have caught him jumping and spinning to look at his own ass. My German Shepherd just like farts. Turns around, sniffs, gets up and leaves. Damn, dude, you're gonna sniff. And he kind of like sneaks away, like maybe nobody will notice. So my poor German Shepherd gets yelled at so much by my wife. He's a big baby. I'm pretty sure if someone came in here to hurt one of us, he wouldn't be a big baby. But to us, he's nothing but a big baby. You know, got done working last night with that painting, and I went in the bedroom and laid down on the floor with him. He just sat there and leaned up against me, just pet me. Something I do with a lot of my German Shepherds when I get them. When they're puppies, I lay down on the floor, let them cuddle up with me, climb on top of me. And now I got 2 German Shepherds that think they're lap dogs. My female German Shepherd's the worst. She is the worst when it comes to that. She wants on my lap every moment. She's like a 75-pound, 80-pound dog. She wants on my lap. So, I've been bullshitting about all these other stuff all night. Haven't got to any news really tonight. Oh. And well, my German Shepherd, David, I think is a big goofball too. My neighbor comes down and it's like heaven. My neighbor loves him, gives him all the attention. He has 2 Yorkie poos, and he loves bigger dogs. And just mine goes nuts. I mean, it's got bad enough I have to lock my German Shepherd in the room because he just goes absolutely nuts. And it's a good nuts. It's just, Phil's here. I wanted to, I'm going to play. He gets scratching his chest, and I've seen my dog, the leg, not even the scratch motion, just like an orgasm twitch. And he gets this goofy look on his face. I'm like, dude, what are you doing to my dog? Looks like he's having an orgasm there. But he'll get scratching on his chest. I see him do it with both my German Shepherds and other dogs. Does the same thing, and he's like the dog whisperer and shit. So I said I had some Second Amendment stuff, and I really do want to get to it. Right now, that's a big thing going on. But first, let me go. As I said, Jerry Jones came out and said he will not stand for players that are going to disrespect the flag. They will be suspended. So the union, the NFLPA, which is the union for the NFL players, has fired back at Jerry Jones, saying players will not stand or not play, warns against making players' right subservient. So now, your employer telling you that you won't be able to protest on work hours is making a person subservient. No, you are an employee. Your boss has the right to tell you what you will and what you won't do during your job. And yes, I agree 100%. I think at this point, Jerry Jones finally saw the ratings, saw the polls, and second, probably saw the loss of money that's happening. And I think it's the owner of the Miami Dolphins has stepped forward, and they're not taking it because it's now hitting in their pockets, taking money away from them. The players aren't losing any money. But the owners are losing money on this. And those players, I know we call them players, but they are employees. That's what they are. They are contracted employees. And yes, an employer has a right to say whether you can protest or can't protest, because I can't go to my job, X, Y, and Z, insult the customer base, make the owner lose business, and expect to keep my job without any repercussions. You have a right to protest. You have a right to your free speech. Just as that owner has a right to can your ass. That owner has a right to say you're not going to do that during your work hours. And then you have a choice. No longer work for that employer or conform to what the employer says. This is just the union trying to make excuses so that their players can go out there. And I think at first some of the owners were worried about pissing the players off. It's something I forget who I was listening to, and they were talking about that. The owners were afraid of the players revolting and refusing to play for them. Well, here's my thought. It's very simple. If these players don't want to play for the owner because they want to protest, and they don't like that some of these owners will fire your ass or suspend your ass, well, there's always another person willing to step up and take that job. There is thousands upon thousands of people that would die to have those jobs and be willing to say to the owners, you know what? I won't be out there pissing the customers off. I'll go out there and I'll play football and worry about protesting on my own time. But the owners didn't think that the customers would stop buying the product. Because guess what? If you lose the customers, there's no backup customers. There's no other customers that are going to come in, but there's always going to be players that are going to willing to play. Hell, look at when, I forget when it was. I remember there was the one year NFL went on strike, and they had the quote-unquote scabs. There's always going to be players, and a lot of those guys are going to play harder than what we have now. Because why? Because they want to make it. They want to get hired to play a game they love. And that's what a lot of these players forgot. Yeah, what is it? 3% of the college players get drafted. I don't know how many thousands? It's such a small percentage actually get drafted. And how many actually go on to an NFL career is even smaller than that. So there's a load of people waiting to step up to take that job. So the NFL's union running their mouth. And the union is countering Jones' comment, insisting that the anthem protests are conscientious and respectful. Well, you know what? You may think it doesn't make it reality. There's a lot of murderers that were out there that thought they were doing God's work, or they thought they were doing what was best for the person, or whatever excuse they came up with for the reasons why they did their murder, that they justified their actions. Just because you could verbalize your actions doesn't make it justified. And the union is there to kiss the players' asses. They've had some good points, and they've had some bad points. Okay, with the suspending of, what is it, Elliott, the running back, I think, for Cowboys. I don't like that the NFL suspended this guy. It's been proven through the legal system that there was no proof behind the accusations. There's text messages of the woman saying who are they going to believe? An innocent white girl or the black guy? I don't believe it. And honestly, I don't think in today's age they would have let that player get away with domestic abuse. with how everything's gone in the media lately. They're looking to nab players for this, and the fact that they didn't even charge, they investigated and said there was no evidence to back up the accusations. And then a year later, the NFL still goes after this player? Hell no. They had no evidence. They ignored a lot of the evidence that said that there was nothing to back up the accusations. And they still trying to suspend. Our court system has said, no, there's nothing there. Can't suspend them. So it's not like I'm bashing the unions altogether. The union in that part had a good place. But what they're doing now with this protest is bullshit. They're just kissing the players' asses. Holy shit, this show is breezing through today. Oh. There's too much bullshit and not enough news. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and LoneStarNews.com. And we will be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
You have been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch Reaver of Common Sense show hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else. So consider this your fair warning.
Hello, I'm Tim Hart. I'm the guy BZ hires, due to his shameless contract with the SHR Media Network, to voice his promos. He'd like me to tell you that the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show can be found on SHR Media Network, Spreaker, and YouTube every Tuesday and Thursday night at 11 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Pacific, featuring right thinking from a left brain and doing the job the American media maggots won't. You'll find that the speech is free, but the drinks are not. There, in the saloon, just when safety pin manufacturers are running out of metal for the diapers of the leftists, BZ is sending his personal drones of freedom into the wheelhouses and ossicles of lovers of sovereignty and liberty nationally and globally. Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, BZ swears that no rights were harmed in the making of this promo.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. You didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying cap for the stupid program.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Hey, it's Sean from the Sackheads Radio Show, also one of the owners here at the SHR Media Network. Are you opinionated? Have you ever wanted to do your own show? Have you ever heard somebody like the Sackheads and go, yeah, I could probably do that better? Well, now's your chance. Send me a 5-minute clip at sackheadsradio@gmail.com and maybe you can be part of the SHR broadcasting team. sackheadsradio@gmail.com.
This is Jersey Joe, host of the Reaver of Common Sense, and you're listening to SHRmedia.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
Human by race, Christian by faith, American by nationality, and conservative by choice. Reverend Ralph J. Chittum Sr. is the right guy on SHR Media from 8:05 to 9 p.m., Monday through Friday. And if on the rare occasion I am ever wrong, I will still always be right. The right guy on SHR Media.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I'm your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm here to make sense out of the senseless. So, alright, I'm going to be a male chauvinist pig here. I actually have wrestling on TV over there, and every now and then I'll take a look over. And right now it's the best. They got like a battle royal of the women's wrestling going on with the WWE. I can't say I'm going to complain about what I see on the screen. Holy shit, some of these women. I'd sit there and talk with my wife. And see, I can openly talk about my wife with these types of things. And be like, yeah, she's attractive. She's got nice this, nice that. My wife would be like, nah, I don't agree with you there. You know, I can talk to my wife about that. We were watching wrestling. I forget what it was. And, what was it? Randy Orton came out. She looked at me. She goes, I hate to tell you. I said, I know. If he was there at the door, she goes, oh, hell yeah. And I was like, you know what? I wouldn't blame him. I may not like it, but I was like, I can understand. See, that's what I love about me and my wife. We can talk about these things, and neither one of us gets upset or jealous about it. I know she's not going to do that. But it's just, you know, she could sit there and say that to me. Because I've been like, hey, hon, this one comes by. And sorry. With you watching, I'm doing that if I had the chance. So, it's, you know, it is what it is. So, yeah, me and my wife will sit here and be like, nah, that one's nose is wrong. You know, my wife's more critical than I am. I'm like, damn, hon. Come on. All right, let's get on to the main subject here. Oh, and I got to touch on one other thing. Vice President Pence went to the 49ers Colts game. And, well, the 49ers did one of their boycotts again. So, Vice President Pence, right after the anthem, left the game. Said he wasn't going to be sit there and have the disrespect and stay and watch as if he was approving. It's his right. So now a 49er, Eric Reed, is saying, what is he? It looks like a PR stunt to me. This is what systematic oppression looks like. How is he oppressing them? They have a right to their speech, which they say they do. Okay, he has a right to his speech. He has a right to get up and say, I'm not going to be a part of this. He feels there was disrespect done. He does not have to be a part of that. He has a right to walk away. I applaud him for walking away. It's not oppression. It's not oppressing anybody. They have a right, but they don't want anybody else to have the right. Shows more that it is not the democracy that they're after. They're trying to push their views, and everybody's supposed to shut up and like it. Well, guess what? That's not how it goes. And let me tell you, the majority of the people aren't buying your bullshit you're spending. Oh. One bit of news, it's being reported that Steve Bannon to back primary challengers against every incumbent GOP senator except Ted Cruz. Supposedly out of the... Where is it? Republicans only have to defend 8 seats, while the Democrats are left defending 23 seats for 2018. Out of those 8, Bannon will be backing the candidate during the primary. Will not be backing any of the incumbents except for Ted Cruz. Still a little hesitant on Ted Cruz, but I'm willing to back him this election. Not trying to start, it's just something. He's been there, but alright, I'll back Cruz. All the rest of them, yeah, I'm backing. I want to see primaried. I don't know, is McConnell up for re-election on 2018? If he is, I want to see his ass primaried. Primary his ass. And you know it's bad when you have the Collins that Dave is talking about in the chat room. When Democrats are begging her to stay, that tells you where her loyalties lie. She is not a conservative. She is a fake conservative. She is there for the Democrats to help them. Yeah, Susan Collins, the one from Maine. I hope a bunch of them get primaried. Like there's the big Twitter war right now going between Trump and Corker. And what's being said is Corker went to Trump and asked him to back him. Trump said he wasn't going to back him. That's when he decided to retire because he knows. And this one I will believe because I've been seeing it. You could see it with the race in was it Kentucky? Where Strange lost. He got primaried. You know? People are tired of it. They're tired of these assholes. We elected Trump, and we expected the Republican Party to get behind, but these elitists, these establishment, or whatever you want to call them, are more worried about protecting their little circle than doing the right thing for the American people. So, yeah, a lot of these guys, I think, are going to get primaried. And I'd rather see that. Get these people out of there. Get some new blood in there. These people that have been around for many years, they need to get the hell out. Folks have had enough. And you know what? I think a lot of people were afraid to vote for Trump because they're afraid of breaking the normal of voting for a non-politician. That scared them. All the bullshit that was said, all the lies that were pushed, that had them a little bit scared. But I think if they can get over that, I think that, even on the left, you're going to see some of them get tired of this bullshit that's going on and start voting these assholes out. There's a vet that was out in the Las Vegas shooting. He ended up, quote-unquote, stealing a truck. And, yeah, the ones that are blocking Trump for getting stuff done, they're the ones that need to go. But there's a couple of them that they're still voting along, but they still don't. They would rather block Trump. They know certain other people are stepping up to do it, so they don't have to do it. So even if we get a couple out of there, then those other ones will step up. We need to get fresh blood that is going to back Trump. There's a veteran that quote-unquote stole a truck during the shooting. When the shooting happened, he went looking for keys of the vehicles that were around, of pickup trucks, so that he could go around collecting people that were wounded and get them to the hospital. And he was trucking in back and forth. He just didn't do it once. So when it got done, there was a tweet back and forth between the owner of the vehicle that was there for the event. I think the guy worked there. And this vet. And the guy said just, hey, where are my keys? The vet said, hey, I have them on you. Basically said, hey, if you want to prosecute me, I understand. I'm not going to fight it. Yada, yada, yada. I want to get your truck clean. There's a lot of blood in it. And the owner said, no, I don't want to press charges. Just we'd like to get the keys back so we can get it cleaned and get it back in service. And the owner was great about it. Just never a negative thing. So there's a Ford dealership. B5 Motors, a car dealership in Gilbert, Arizona. They have announced that they are giving the Marine veteran Taylor Wilson a brand new Ford F-150 to thank him for his bravery. You know, if we have more companies, I know it sounds stupid, I'm actually getting a little choked up here from it. If we get more companies stepping up, more people stepping up and doing this, and I don't like these disasters, but what you see in these disasters, like 9/11, I saw the best in people. The worst incidents, you see the best in Americans. It brings out the best in us. Then afterwards, you always have the assholes coming along trying to fuck up the situation. But during the event, you have the best of the best come out in people. And same thing with this Las Vegas shooting. You saw some of the best in the American come out. Americans that were running to the gunfire and getting people out and then going right back into it. Totally disregarding their own lives to help fellow Americans. And I know the left is trying to squash these as much as they can because it does not help them. There was whites, blacks, browns. Same thing with Hurricane Harvey, Irma, all the hurricanes that happened. Americans came together to help fellow Americans. Didn't matter what fucking color you were, your nationality, your religion, everybody chipped in and helped. And the left hates that. The left hates that with a passion. They don't want that. Because that fucks up their whole work that they've been doing to separate us. And it shows just how great America really is. And how Americans really feel about each other. And we need to see more of that and less of the liberal bullshit. Think of how great we would be doing right now if we didn't have all this bullshit going on. If we had old-time politics, and by that I mean Democrats weren't just out to oppose Donald Trump. Doesn't mean they have to go along and agree, but if they weren't trying to just oppose. Imagine if the Republicans were working with Democrats and compromising. Okay, you give up this, we'll give up this. Well, you really want to get this through? We're willing to give this up. Compromise is both parties go to the table and both parties walk away unhappy. That's a true compromise. And that's what we need out of our politicians. But all they worry about anymore is, how is this going to help my reelection, and how is it going to put money in my pockets? Too many of these guys and girls have ownership in companies, and it's getting tiresome. They look out for themselves and then themselves only. Not even their people, that their constituents. I could understand if they were even doing what was best for what their constituents want. I could understand that. If even a Republican got elected, but his base wanted a liberal policy, and you can actually prove that's what his base, his constituents want, and that's what he stood up for, I can understand that. Because that's what they're there for. They're not there to push their ideas. They are there to be the representative of what the people want. Not what they want, what the people want. And we need to get more politicians to get in office to do that. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and LoneStarNews.com. And we will be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
You have been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch Reaver of Common Sense show hosted by Jersey Joe right here on shrmedia.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else. So consider this your fair warning.
Hello, I'm Tim Hart. I'm the guy BZ hires, due to his shameless contract with the SHR Media Network, to voice his promos. He'd like me to tell you that the Bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show can be found on SHR Media Network, Spreaker, and YouTube every Tuesday and Thursday night at 11 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Pacific, featuring right thinking from a left brain and doing the job the American media maggots won't. You'll find that the speech is free, but the drinks are not. There, in the saloon, just when safety pin manufacturers are running out of metal for the diapers of the leftists, BZ is sending his personal drones of freedom into the wheelhouses and ossicles of lovers of sovereignty and liberty nationally and globally. Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, BZ swears that no rights were harmed in the making of this promo.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying cap for the stupid promo.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Hey, it's Sean from the Sackheads Radio Show, also one of the owners here at the SHR Media Network. Are you opinionated? Have you ever wanted to do your own show? Have you ever heard somebody like the Sackheads and go, yeah, I could probably do that better? Well, now's your chance. Send me a 5-minute clip at sackheadsradio@gmail.com, and maybe you can be part of the SHR broadcasting team. sackheadsradio@gmail.com.
This is Jersey Joe, host of the Reaver of Common Sense, and you're listening to shrmedia.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
Human by race, Christian by faith, American by nationality, and conservative by choice. Reverend Ralph J. Chittum Sr. is the right guy on SHR Media from 8:05 to 9 p.m. Monday through Friday. And if on the rare occasion I am ever wrong, I will still always be right. The right guy on SHR Media.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. Good evening and welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I'm your host, Jersey Joe. And I'm here to make sense out of the senseless. Last segment. Yeah, that's gotta hurt a little bit. Let me tell you, I said it a little bit earlier. I want to thank Jenna. I want to thank BZ. I want to thank Dave the Unpleasant Blind Guy. I want to thank you guys. When you guys are in the chat room, it actually makes a big difference. And I was talking to Sackhead Sean about this. It makes a big difference when you're talking, when you have people in the chat room. You know, it actually feels like I'm talking to somebody there, and the interaction going back and forth, it helps the show a lot more. So I really appreciate when you guys are here. I really do. You guys are greatly appreciated. So, just remember, bada boom, realest guy in the room. Watching too much WWE. BZ, that's exactly what I just said. It makes a huge difference. You guys make a huge difference, because when you guys aren't here in chat, it sometimes feels like I'm talking to myself. I see my numbers, I know I have people listening, and I appreciate everybody that's listening. But when they're in the chat rooms and you're interacting, it just gives this better feeling. So jump in the chat room, people. You just go to SHR Media, you know, click on... So I don't like giving out misinformation. It's right at the top of the page, too. No, Jenna, you're never a pain. You really aren't. I enjoy having you there. I enjoy your comments. I may not always be able to respond to every single one, but it is appreciated, the comments. And if you go to shrmedia.com, you click on the Listen Live/chat. Jump in the chat room. Join the conversation. I've told you before, and I'll tell you again. Tell me you love me, hate me, want me fired, want me to get a raise, or just want to tell me to fuck off. Go there and tell me it. Don't bother me. All right. Actually, I was going to do a lot of Second Amendment conversations tonight with articles that have been in the paper. I don't have enough time to go through them, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to postpone them tomorrow. I'm pretty sure Jenna is listening, I believe, on her cell phone. And she's sending me private messages through Facebook. She's unable to get into the SHR chat room. So, how you doing? So I don't mind even that. The one thing that gets me sometimes, and I feel bad, I'll get messages through the Spreaker chat room. Yep. About another 10 minutes left, and I'll get them on Facebook. Let's see. YouTube, and it's like, oh my god. I got another 10 minutes, but I got a lot left. I got, I think, like 5 articles, and let me see what I can get through. I really do want it. I wanted to get through today. All right, let's start with the first one. I got 10 minutes. Let's see. Here's everything that the Dianne Feinstein bump stock ban would outlaw. While Dianne Feinstein, a Democrat, presents her latest piece of gun control legislation as narrowly focused on bump stocks, the reality is that the language of the bill includes ban on other firearm accessories too. This means those who have worried that Feinstein's bill would create a slippery slope leading to the passage of more bans need to understand that her bill is the slippery slope. It contains all the future bans in it already. Exactly, and I've missed chats, BZ. I've missed comments that are made because I've seen one like one day in YouTube, then I've seen it another day in the speaker chat room, and just all over the place. It's like, son of a bitch. All right, October 8th, it was reported that Feinstein admitted no law would have stopped the Vegas attacker, and I got that article coming out. But then she said, we need a law to ban bump stock, and described her bill as a simple piece of 2-page legislation written in clear English and narrowly focused on bump stocks. And as much as I don't care about the bump stocks, they're more a novelty item than anything. I worry about that slope because once you give them an inch, they're going to try to push it even further, and that's what I fear. She says that it's in plain English. The language of her bill is anything but narrow. In fact, the bill, the Automatic Gunfire Prevention Act bill, bans accessories that is designed or functions to accelerate the rate of fire of a semi-automatic rifle, but not convert the semi-automatic rifle into a machine gun. This language is very crucial because in it goes after bump stocks for being exactly what the ATF describes, an accessory, not a conversion device. Which, what about if I put a trigger on and I adjust the pounds on it so that I can shoot it quicker? Is that going to be underneath that language? Which it would fall underneath that language. So it's the language, and it allows for further bans down the road. But this, in other words, the semi-automatic firearm with a bump stock is still a semi-automatic firearm. It only fires 1 round per each pull of the trigger, period. Yet Feinstein wants to ban them, and because she has to focus her ban on accessories, it means the ban is broad enough that it already includes numerous other devices that do not convert semi-automatics into automatics either. Her legislation explicitly lists a trigger crank as something that would be banned as well. Did the Vegas attacker use a trigger crank? No, he did not. Yet it would be banned because Feinstein wants to ban any accessory that allows the gun owner to accelerate the rate of fire of a semi-automatic rifle, but not convert the semi-automatic rifle into a machine gun. Well, I was talking to my dad about this, and I turned around. I said, Dad, I don't really care about these bump stocks. But he agreed that, you know, one step leads into another. But he said there's really no reason for anybody to own, which I agree. There's no real reason to own one, besides I want one. But like I told him, a piece of plastic and a rubber band, you could basically make this at home. He's like, oh, I didn't know that. I was like, yeah, it's a real simple device that you could build at home and put it on your gun. He goes, so it's going to be hard to really enforce. I said, basically. And then I explained how it's not that reliable, and this guy got lucky with what he did. The language of a bill would include bans on other devices, bans that are only implicit at this point. It would simply come down to a bureaucrat deciding the threshold at which semi-automatics are being fired too fast, and any accessory that allows a gun owner to meet that threshold would be banned. Feinstein bill currently has 38 co-sponsors, all of whom are Democrats, but numerous Republicans, including House Speaker Paul Ryan, Bill Flores, Representative Mark Meadows, Senator John Cornyn, Lindsey Graham, Mark Rubio, have voiced openness to gun control via bump stock legislative and or hearings on such legislative. And of course, there's Sunday on NBC's Meet the Press discussing the Las Vegas shootings. Senator Dianne Feinstein said she was not sure there were any sets of laws that could have prevented the Las Vegas tragedy. Todd the douchebag asked, "Let me ask you this. Give me the slate of laws that you could wave your wand and have enacted that could have prevented Vegas." Feinstein, "Well, I don't know. I would have to take a good look at that and really study it. I'm not sure that there is any sets of law that could have prevented it. I do know this, that we have a Second Amendment. There's been a difference over its interpretation by the court, the High Court. Nonetheless, the High Court has held and possession of firearms is legal under the Second Amendment." She gets into a bunch of other shit and whatever, but she made the same thing, or the exact point. She can't think of any laws that would have stopped it. Oh, shit. Oops. Because, let me tell you, murder is already against the law. The guy murdered people. If he's going to murder people knowing it's against the law, do you think by saying you can't use a bump stock is going to stop a criminal from committing his heinous acts? Do you think making any type of law that says don't use this weapon is going to stop them from going, well, you know, this weapon's against the law, so I'm not going to go out and commit this crime now? Bullshit. They're going to find another way to do it. I mean, it goes perfect. I've played it before, and it's hard to play it over radio. Search for, on YouTube, Matt Best. M-A-T-T Best. B-E-S-T. Hard to be a law-abiding criminal. And the basis of it is 3 criminals break into his house carrying all types of different firearms to rob his house. He walks into the kitchen, they pull their guns. And he points out that those guns are banned underneath California law. And they're like, oh, shit, sorry. So they pull out a different stat. And he's like, nope, still illegal. And the one turned around and says, you know, it's hard to be a law-abiding criminal. And then they pull out cap and ball. You know, the old style, you got to pack down. But then the girlfriend comes out and points to a sign that says it's a gun-free zone. And they walk out, oh, it's so hard, you know, being a law-abiding criminal. Man, I really wanted that TV. And they walk away not committing the crime. That's exactly what these idiots try to push on people, saying will happen. And that is never, ever going to happen. Criminals are not going to go, well, it's illegal for me to do it. Yeah. So let me see. I'm really pushing for time, but I don't have anybody next, so if I go a couple minutes over today, no big deal. On Sunday, CNN State of the Union, Senator Chris Murphy admitted after a bump stock ban was passed, universal background checks would be the next step for gun control. Tapper said, you said earlier that you would be willing to allow a clean bill in Congress that bans or regulates bump stocks without requiring more broader gun control to be attached to the bill. Is universal background checks the next step, though? You said you'd be willing to separate it. Is universal background checks closing the so-called gun show loophole, requiring background checks for private sales? Is that the next step for people in your philosophical camp and Senate? You know how he just kept going, well, background check, universal background check, background check. Murphy responded, it should be the next step, in large part because it is the most popular accepted change. I have yet to see a poll that says it is the majority of the people want that. Because every time I hear about it, the people that keep pushing for it keep getting elected out. They keep running out there. Well, you know, the people want this. The people want this. And they're saying this lie right here. This is an absolute lie. In states that have universal background check, gun crimes are reduced by as much as 40%. And you know, there is this fiction that gun lobby tries to perpetuate, that there are no laws that could stop evildoers from perpetuating the kinds of crimes we saw in Las Vegas and that we see in Chicago. That's simply not true. What we know is that states that have tougher gun laws, that keep criminals from getting guns, that keep those dangerous weapons like AR-15 out of the hands of criminals, have dramatically lower rates of gun violence. That is the biggest bunch of bullshit I have heard a politician spout. Especially even coming from Chris lying piece of shit Murphy. We have plenty of data to tell you that, in fact, if you have tougher gun laws, you will have law gun crime. And this is a bunch of bullshit, because it's been proven that as gun ownership has gone up, gun crime and other crimes have dropped. And let me tell you, I know for a fact, Jackass Murphy, you piece of shit, criminals do not pay attention to your laws. You can have all the fucking laws you want, and my father still got shot. It was illegal to carry in the state of New Jersey, concealed carry. That criminal concealed carried in New Jersey, walked in and shot my father and murdered his boss. It is against the law to commit attempted murder in the state of New Jersey, and he tried to kill my father. It is against the law to murder somebody in the state of New Jersey, and he still went in and murdered my dad's boss. It is against the law to leave a crime scene in the state of New Jersey. He walked away from a crime scene and disappeared, never to be found again. So this dumbass politician can live in whatever fantasy world he wants to live in. I know in reality, criminals are never, ever, ever listen to the law. They will never listen to a goddamn law, because that's why they are criminals. And they hate me when I talk to them, because I ask them, how did banning law-abiding citizens from concealed carrying, how did that save my dad that day? Please, someone explain it to me. Now, it doesn't guarantee if my dad was carrying that day that he would have came out unscathed. It doesn't guarantee, but my dad went from having no chances and being there, being held and tortured, and being held against his will, and watch a gunman hold the gun to my dad's boss' head. He had to sit there and watch this. And then he had to sit there and wait for his turn. Now, if he had a concealed carry, he could have taken a gun out and at least fought. No, what happened is the guy turned around finally after having my dad stand there, fired 2 shots, and walked out of the building. And put my dad on the ground. He laid there for a couple of minutes bleeding severely. His boss, well, his brains are still in the concrete. My dad finally got to the point he knew he was either going to go to sleep and never wake up and have my mother haunting him for the rest of his life. She was alive. He stood up, grabbed the broom. He grabbed the broom to help him walk, and also as a weapon, because he didn't know if the guy was still outside. He had to walk around that building and walk a good 50 to 100 feet to the office that was in the front of the building. And he had to walk with that fear, knowing any moment that guy could pop out. But I see how gun bans help my father. I could see that outright. Fucking idiots. And when I talk about this, I get told I'm too emotional about it. I'm too emotional and I need to shut up and step out of the conversation. And I'm serious. That's what I get told about the gun control advocates. I'm too emotional about it. Yeah, I'm emotional about it. Because I saw what it did to my family. I didn't see any one of these anti-gun groups there to help us out. I didn't see anyone there for the 15 years my dad went through surgery after surgery after surgery. What I did see is a newspaper, and thank God they fucked up, put our names, our address, they put our actual physical address in the newspaper, saying my dad had identified who the shooter was. But thank God they fucked up and put the wrong address in. Oh, no, Jen, it really isn't. I'm passionate about this, but it does not affect me like it used to. I became a raging alcoholic for years over that incident, and that's a whole different story on it. It took me a lot of years to get over that. But the one thing I know is, and I turned to my dad not too long ago. I said, hey, Dad, because he's not a big gun nut guy. He was in the military and all that. I said, even if you had carried that thing, I said, you wouldn't have been able to take that gun out and shoot him. And I never seen my dad whip around and give me a look. And he looked at me and said, don't you 1 minute think I wouldn't have. I was like, damn, Dad, I'm sorry. Why I said that to my dad is my dad still to this day does not hate that man. He has forgiven that man. Because my dad looks at it, he doesn't want to be carrying that around in his heart. He feels that's a waste of time. So he's forgiven the guy and said, it's done. Now me? I would love to see that man just one time in my life. Things I would do to him. So, with that, I've talked about this before. And I've talked about it plenty of times, and I'm not afraid to talk about it. I believe in carrying a gun to protect yourself. I do not want to give someone that chance to do what happened to me growing up, to have that happen to my daughter. In fact, when I was riding EMS, I never wore a vest. I went running into the shooting scenes. My daughter was born. All of a sudden, I started thinking, holy shit, I can't be taking the chances that I've been. I went and got a goddamn bulletproof vest, and I started wearing it. Because I didn't want my daughter growing up because some gangbanger shot me. I didn't want her growing up without me. So I protect my family. I just finished building a nice AR-15. I guess it's broken because it still hasn't shot anybody. It hasn't gone on a mass shooting like everybody says it's gonna. But it's got to be broken because it sits in the proper place and hasn't gone nuts. All right, everybody, with that, I want to wish everybody a great evening. I'll be back tomorrow, 9 p.m. for the Reaver of Common Sense, right here on SHR Media and Lone Star News Radio. Everybody, have a great night. You've been listening to the Reaver of Common Sense with its host, Jersey Joe. You can tune in every day, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on hppundit.com and shrmedia.com.